Propaganda on the walls of Egypt? Yeah, what's going on, party people in the place to be? I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Hope everybody's having a good day off if you have it. Coming back at you one more again. And of course, if you have not yet already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please share this link. Tell a friend and tell a friend that's him again. And if you like how it goes down with BK, you can show your appreciation via PayPal, which should be pinned on top of the chat. And if you'd like to be a monthly supporter of BK, you can become a Patreon, where you get an assortment of goodies to enhance your personal Bible study. And of course, we want to say what's up to the party people in the chat. Big up to DFC in the building. DFC, if you could do me a solid, if you could just share this link to wherever you can, that I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. So, and we got, of course, the real American, Mr. Phil Fox. Yes, sir. Big up Brooklyn all day, every day. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So this is what we're gonna do. So let's get right to it, right? Propaganda on the walls of Egypt. Now, many of us have probably seen a variation of this particular meme, right? You search for your truth in so-called holy books, but not on the walls where they stole the knowledge to put in those same books. Right? Here's another variation. Our truth is carved in stone. Their lies are read in books. Well, first of all, that's Mesopotamia, not Egypt. So I don't know if that still applies to the conscious community. Because they don't really talk too much about Mesopotamia, but I'm assuming that that's what they mean, right? So the argument is somehow that the Bible that's written on paper pales in comparison to the actual facts that's been chiseled in stone. Specifically, the things that's been chiseled in ancient Egypt, right? If it's on the walls, we can really, be certain that it's true, because it's stone. There's no way you can get rid of it, right? Or is it? Right? So before we even get to the propaganda, let's get into this concept, right? The process of filling in. Let me check real quick. Okay. The process of filling in and recarving the stone to replace some of the original hieroglyphics. The technical term for such a surface that has been written on more than once is called a palimpsest. The usurping and modifying of inscriptions was common in ancient Egypt throughout its history. So this idea that once it's laid in stone, that's it, is not true. It is not true at all. It is a complete falsehood. They would rewrite on previous written stoneworks again and again. And they have it so much so that they coined a term for it, a palimpsest, right? The glyphs were modified at least once in antiquity, perhaps twice. Some of the filling has fallen out in places where the older and new inscriptions overlap. And the result is unique and odd looking. Seti's son, Ramesses II, hastily completed and decorated several sections of the temple, and in some instances, Ramesses II placed decorations over those of his father. That's kind of disrespectful, since his father was the Nesut, the pharaoh, the son of Ra. But I guess he's dead now, and I'm the new son of Ra. It's about me and not about dear old dad, I guess, right? The picture that's believed to be of a space and aircraft is one such redecoration or palimpsest. The text is part of the title of Ramesses II, which replaced the royal title of Seti I, which was originally carved into the stone. So here we have a graphic depicting that. The original glyphs of Seti is above. And then Ramses came, the second, and he wrote these hieroglyphs on top of the glyphs of Seti the first, right? So you got the glyphs of Seti the first on top, and then those were written above onto by the glyphs of Ramses II. And when that happened, this is what happens when you put it together. And when people look at that, we know that in Ancient Aliens and people like Billy Carson and other individuals, they will use this same glyphs and say, you see, they had helicopters and spaceships. It's like, no, what you're seeing is a palimpsest. But it's written on the walls of Kemet, though. So it got to be true. Right? Now, this is not propaganda. Right? This is just a son being disrespectful to his dad. But I just wanted to show you, make the point that just because it's written on the wall and it's old, doesn't mean that it's accurate or true. Okay? So let's get to the propaganda. And this is from the University of Memphis. Again, Ramses II is perhaps best known for, actually, before I get into that, let me check the chat real quick. All right, we good, we good. All right, let's keep going. Ramses II is perhaps best known for the Battle of Kadesh, fought against the Hittite Empire over the city of Kadesh in Syria. Although a military failure, Kadesh was a propaganda victory for Ramses. And he displayed his quote-unquote victory prominently on the walls of several temples throughout Egypt. The Karnak Hypostyle Hall was attended as one of the venues for his Kadesh narrative of texts and war scenes. But before work was finished, Pharaoh changed his mind and had scenes of his later wars in Syria and Palestine carved over the top of the incomplete Kadesh scenes. So he was doing the propaganda for Kadesh, but it was propaganda. But then he found, you know what? I did pretty good in these other wars. I'd rather highlight that instead. So let me write over the previous propaganda. A giant triumphal scene of Ramses II slain enemy prisoners. Embedded in the image are elements of the palimpsest version of the Battle of Kadesh. The heads of Egyptian officials are enmeshed in the king's torso, while a line of Egyptian soldiers march between the king's legs. The poem of Pentar is the official Egyptian record of the military victory of Ramses II over the Hittite king Muwatai II at the Battle of Kadesh in 1274 BCE. So proud was Ramses II of this campaign that he had the poem, which details his personal valor against the overwhelming odds, inscribed on the walls of temples in Abydos, Luxor, Karnak, Abu Simbel, and in his Ramesseum. So he wanted to make sure everybody knew he got busy in this particular war, this battle of Kadesh against the Hittites. Now we're going to look at a book entitled Battles That Changed History, an Encyclopedia of World Conflict by Spencer Tucker. All right, so let's go. Fort near Kadesh, believed to be Karshemish on the Euphrates River in northwestern Syria in 1298 BCE, the Battle of Kadesh was waged between Egyptian forces led by Pharaoh Ramses II and a Hittite army led by King Muwatai-ish. Almost everything about this battle is in dispute, including the exact date, the location, the strength of the forces involved, and the performance of the Egyptian troops. But on the wall, the Egyptian troops, they're rocking out, right? Well, we don't know. We don't know. It is, however, mentioned in both the Egyptian and biblical accounts, so its occurrence is fairly certain. Apparently, Ramses was campaigning in Syria and his army in 4 separate divisions and advancing against Hittite forces whom he believed to be to the north. Ramses was the Ammon division and decided to camp northwest of Kadesh, which he had bypassed. The main Hittite army was secreted behind Kadesh. No sooner had the Egyptians begun to set up camp than the Hittite leader Muwattalish appeared from the south, sending a reported 2,500 chariots, some across the Euphrates, probably by means of a dam, to attack the Ray division, which was unprepared for battle. The Egyptians fled to the north away from their supply bases. Gee, I wonder why that's not recorded on the walls of Kemet. Meanwhile, Ramses and the Amun division came under attack in their camp from another Hittite force from south of Kadesh. Ramses sent messengers by a side route to the west to speed the arrival from the south of the two other Egyptian divisions, the Ptah and the Sutek. Deserted by many, if not most of his troops. Was that put on the walls of Kemet? Who fled northward? Ramses was saved by his bravery and standing his ground, but also by the timely arrival of elite auxiliary forces. Right? Probably mercenaries from Judah who were not part of the four Egyptian divisions who cut through the Hittites surrounding the pharaoh. So he got ambushed. His troops left Ramses. So he's alone, try to figure it out. And luckily for him, some hired men, not the army, not his troops, came in and salvaged and saved him. Right? This saved him from death or captivity and brought him out to the Ptah and Sutek divisions, which had not participated in the battle. Ramses' generals urged him to return to Egypt with his remaining forces, which he did. Although the Hittites had inflicted a serious setback on Ramses, that's not mentioned in the walls, and retained control of Syria, they found themselves under pressure from both the Assyrians and the Egyptians, and ultimately sought a peace treaty with Egypt. And here, primary evidence, here is a copy of the actual Egyptian Hittite peace treaty between Ramses and Huitzilopochtli III, mid-13th century. You can find this in the Berlin Museum. It's considered one of the first, if not the first, peace treaties ever recorded. But when you look at the walls, Ramses, drawn literally larger than life, with his bow made of bronze, by himself, single-handedly, keeping the enemy at bay because he's just that guy. Even though he got ambushed and all his troops bounced on him, right? There's no victory here for either side, right? Because even though the Hittites got the best of them, during that skirmish, they lost so many people, they couldn't fully defeat the Egyptians, and the Egyptians had to retreat because they couldn't fully defeat the Hittites. So they came to the table. They said, you know what? I stay over here. You stay over there. We good. That's not what we see in the walls. The accounts of this battle mainly are derived from Egyptian literary accounts known as the Bulletin, also known as the Record, and the poem, as well as pictorial reliefs. Unfortunately for scholars and individuals interested in the Battle of Kadesh, the details that those sources provide are heavily biased interpretations of the events. Since Ramses II had complete control over the building projects, the resources were used for propagandist purposes by the pharaoh, who used them to brag about his victory at Kadesh. This is from William J. Murnane, Battle of Kadesh. So on the walls, right, Ramses big as life, right? And he does mention the troops left me, but I held it down. I'm 10 toes down. I had it. Yeah, but you had some help finally came to save you, though. You had some missionaries come through, mercenaries, and got you out of there. And then the general was like, fam, you need to go back home. And Ramses said, you right. And he went with the rest of his troops back home. Hittites didn't fare any better. So they both had to sign a peace treaty. One of the first ones ever. So this concept of, if it's written on the walls of Kemet somehow makes it true. No, it's not. It's just not. It's as the kids say, it's cap. It was all cap propaganda. Now, am I saying everything that's written on the walls is propaganda? No, I am not saying that at all. What I am saying is you cannot say there isn't any propaganda on the walls of Egypt. This idea that if it's embedded in the walls, it's true. No, because one, they would erase stuff from the walls all the time. So sometimes it's even hard to even know what's on the walls originally because they wrote on top of the old stuff. Ramses wanted to make sure everybody knew how amazing he was, so he literally wrote in front of the glyphs about his dad. Then turns around and writes propaganda about alleged victories from the Battle of Kadesh. So again, if it's written on the walls, it's true. That's a bald face. That's incorrect. I don't want to say it's a lie because I'm sure people believe that honestly, but they are incorrect. They are completely incorrect. So anytime you see this meme posted on your timeline, share this video so they can see that, well, that's not the case. Well, how do you know? The Battle of Kadesh. That's why. That's why. So with that being said, that's it. I just want to share that with you guys real quick. Quick, simple video. So again, when anybody does this, anybody puts up a meme or makes this argument, share this video. It's a short one and it gets to the point. All right. So that being said, this is BK and I'm out. Peace.